Hi and welcome back to the program. In this video we're going to cover something quite advanced that we've seen before, but we didn't really know how it worked. I'm talking about @class method, or @static method. These are called decorators, and a decorator is just a function that gets called before another function. We're also going to look at importing other things. In some cases, our Python code may need to use somebody else's code as well. If somebody else has written something that you can use, then you shouldn't reinvent the wheel and write everything again. Python comes with a large number of very useful libraries, essentially code that someone else has written. And in order to write decorators, we need to use one of them. So let's import it. This is the functools library. Stands for function tools. And we're going to need it because a decorator is going to essentially use this library to allow us to do something with the methods. And I'm going to create a method called myDecorator. And it's going to take in a parameter. The parameter I'm going to call func. You can call it whatever you want, it's just a variable, as you know. Then, it's funny, because in order to declare a decorator, in order to create a decorator, you need to use a decorator, which is quite redundant. But I'm going to do @functools.wraps, func, and then function that runs func. And then, here's where it gets fun. Print in the decorator func, and then return function that runs func. Okay, so this is my decorator. It looks really horrible, but that's what a decorator is. You have the decorator, and you have a function. And this function wraps around the function that you pass in as a parameter. And then you can do things before or after the function. So here's what happens, really. You say @myDecorator, and then you define a function, print the function, my function. Okay, so this is pretty tough. The first few times that I looked at decorators a while ago, they were really confusing. So hopefully we can dispel some of that confusion through this video. The first thing that happens is that you define your decorator. Okay. But really the interesting bit happens in here. You apply the decorator to my function. So what that does is that changes my function. My function executes this code. So what we're going to do is we're going to pass my function to the decorator as func. And then we're going to create a function that's going to wrap around it. And it's going to say, I'm in the decorator. Then it's going to run the function. Remember, this function here is the parameter, which is my function. So we're going to run that function and print this code. And then after that, we're going to print after the decorator. And we return the function that runs func. And this function here that runs this print statement, the function, and this print statement, this function here is the one that replaces my function. So my function stops being my function, and it becomes this function here, which is this. So it's a pretty mind-boggling sort of thing that's going on here. So what we do is we pass my function, create a function that uses it, and then replace my function by that function. So essentially we're extending the function with some stuff in front and some stuff after it. Let's clear this and run it. And as you can see, we get in the decorator, and the function, and after the decorator. We can not run func if we wanted, and then we just get this code here. As you can see, this function is essentially getting replaced by this one, this function here. So we no longer even call this. Your decorator should always call the function. Because if not, really, it doesn't matter what you're decorating, because it's never going to run. So make sure to always call the function from your decorator. And this is the way that decorators are built. So you're passing my function to the decorator, and then you're wrapping another function around it. This is some magic that happens in functools, and I'm not going to go into how this works. And then basically, this function that runs func is what runs some stuff in front, then runs the function, and then runs some stuff after it, and then returns a value that is what replaces this function here. When you run the function, then what you're really running is this function. So I hope that makes sense. This is what a simple decorator looks like. In the next video, we're going to look at complex decorators, which are slightly more annoying. So I will see you in the very next video. We're going to look at that. And hopefully with those two, you're going to complete your Python knowledge, and we will be able to move into creating REST APIs, which is the focus of this course. So I'm really excited to guide you into the next video and beyond. I'll see you there.